And we are back. 2 weeks off seems like forever, but I'm glad to be back. Happy to be back. Good to talk to you guys. And as always, I'm not allowed to do this show by myself because if I do, somebody gets upset. But he does it by himself sometimes. But anyways, let's welcome in our buddy, our good friend, everybody's favorite Uncle Ed.
Peter Brown, good to see you, man. Excited, a brand new year, and there's so much stuff to talk about. We thought we were talking about, having a guest, but we're like, you know what? There's just so much to talk about.
Don't need it.
Why waste the show when we don't need it.
There's
a lot to talk about, guys, so don't forget, you can call in. Peter's going to put that number, and you can get on the chat and tell us what you think about everything that's happening with Inter Miami. Well, not that one.
It was the wrong one.
Yeah,
it was the banner that I used to use when we did the reaction videos, but we don't do those anymore because we couldn't get anybody to send them in. I had to beg people to send in reaction videos. So,
well, look at that.
That was a short-lived bit, but it was fun. Yeah, there is a lot to talk about. So as Ed mentioned, you can call 786-474-4435. Chat is active as well. So lots to talk about from players to stadium to jerseys. I see what Jazz Fusion's talking about, the pink jerseys. So yeah, lots to talk about. I mean, we won't even get to everything tonight. So, but that's okay. We've got a lot. We got a show next week to do as well. So, but Ed, I got to ask before we go too far, how were your holidays?
Peter, it was great. I killed a lot of brain cells. I got I'm excited for the new year because there's just so much going on. We'll talk about it a little bit more. Let's I guess go do what we need to do first, and
it was a good holiday break for everybody. I hope you guys watching had a good holiday break as well. But it's ready to get back to the action. But one thing that hasn't changed in this new year, a lot of things may change, right? But the one thing that hasn't changed is our relationship with, wrong one.
Them too. That's them too.
Caneswear. That's our relationship with Caneswear. See, I'm rusty already. Our relationship with Caneswear has not changed. And you need to go. Actually, in this picture that you see, Ed is wearing that hat right there. That's the same hat, Ed.
Sure am.
That's the same hat. There. You can get that. You could get that same hat right there at Caneswear in Davie, Florida. It's right off of University, just south of 595. And if that is too far for you, no problem. Go to caneswear.com and you can get all your Inter Miami gear right there. Support a local business, and you can go and get your jerseys, get the sponsor. Like this shirt here, I got to go get the sponsor on. This was a gift that was given to me, and so now I got to get the shirt sponsor. You can do that at Caneswear. So, and
we're gonna go do it at Caneswear too.
Yeah, we'll try to maybe film a video going to Caneswear. Kata says, does Caneswear have a fire sale too? No, but they always have great prices. They always have really good prices. They've always got things at discounted. And a better selection. One of the cool things about Caneswear too is not just the shirts and stuff like that, right? It's all that other stuff. Like if you wanted a keychain or a license plate tag or a sticker or something to hang in your office, they got all the yard signs, the flags,
something to drink your beer with,
the koozies. Yeah, they've got all the little, I always call the tchotchkes, all the little knickknacks. They've got all that stuff there as well. So. It's just a good selection. And like I said, go support a local business. You want to support us, support them. That's the best way to do it. Ed, let's say hello to a few people that are in the chat.
Peter, there's a lot of people, and I guess, it's good to take a couple days off or a couple weeks off because I see a lot of people on here. We've got One World, One Goal, as always. She's the first one. Wow. Jazz Fusion is also with us. How you doing, Jazz? Chris Menendez. Nice seeing you, buddy. Jose Velasquez. Happy New Year to you, too.
I think you missed somebody, Ed.
What happened?
You think you missed Chris Arjun?
Oh, look at that. Yep, I missed Chris Arjun. Look at that. My bad. A new Wiseman from Atlanta. He's checking us out as well. And Kata, you mentioned him already.
Mm-hmm.
We got Footballer. And we got the good judge himself, Judge Dredd the Law. Good old Judge Dredd. And man, the conversation in there is on fire. One of Peter's favorite foods, pancake, jet pancake, is also on there. And we've got, who else we got? Peter Brown.
I'm looking. I'm like, I don't know. Where
I'm way down. It's way down there, man.
Yeah, I think you missed. I'm not sure, but I'm moving up. I think you might have missed.
Oh yeah,
Esteban.
I missed Esteban. Yeah. Esteban Dido.
There you go.
Yeah, one of your favorite critics. We also have Gael Padra.
Glad you said that.
How you doing, Gael? And did I miss anybody else, Peter?
No, I think that's it. I think that's it.
There's a lot of conversation going on there.
If you haven't said hello yet, if you haven't popped into the chat, say hello. One big happy family.
We'll mention you. Awesome, good stuff. So yeah, Peter, man, it's moving in there. It's because there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
this off season. You used to always mention how you love the off season because there's so much going on, and
I love this
season does not disappoint.
I love this. I think it's so interesting. And if you when all the moves and and all that kind of stuff, I find it super, super interesting. Now, of course, some of the moves are a little bit surprising. Some of them are not. But like we mentioned in the title, there is a fire sale in South Florida, and nobody is safe. Everybody is for sale.
Everybody.
I mean, players you thought they might keep, like Christian McCoon. You thought they might keep him, because he had a kind of a breakout year last year.
Let's talk about that.
The first year, I thought he sucked. Second year, much improved and pretty affordable. I'd have to pull up, the money.
How much?
For everybody.
Yeah, well, but while you do that, Peter, that's one of the things I think we with Peter we chat all the time because we're soccer fans and we're nerds like that. So I was like, I don't remember who it was. I think it was, I don't know if it was you or if it was Eric Thomas who sent us a message about how, the deal with McCoon. And I was like, what? McCoon, he's a young guy. He's, it's one of the players that I think we should keep. But I don't know if you got the information on him yet, but Peter, it looks like they're getting a draft pick for him.
Not a draft pick. He made $175,000, so not cheap, but not super expensive either. I mean, he's not like a USL player, which is probably what we're going to end up with some of these positions at least. Like what Mabika is going to come up, but he's he'll play center, and McCoon plays center, but he also plays left, I think. So, but yeah, like Jazz says, it's a number one pick in the allocation order, which can be valuable if they make the right selection. So
all right, explain that to me, Peter Brown. What in tarnations is a number one pick in the allocation order?
I mean, I basically there's definitely some serious rules involved with it. I had it up earlier today and I was looking at it.
Because MLS is not complicated.
No, not at all. But basically, I think the main way it's used, and correct me if I'm wrong, chatters or viewers, is that a lot of times it's used to bring in U.S. national team players. But if you look on the MLS site for all the players that are eligible for the allocation order, it's funny because they are all players, a ton of players that they're not coming here. Like Pulisic is on there. Like, why is Pulisic listed on there? Okay, he's an international player, but what claim does MLS have to him? He's got a contract with another club. But
he's never going to come here. Never.
Until the end of his career.
Not anytime soon.
He'll finish his career somewhere in MLS like a lot of European American players do, but no time soon. So there's a ton of players on there. So that's one of the rumors out there that I saw floating around on the internet. Take it with a grain of salt. No, who knows if it's true that Miami will use this allocation order number one spot that they're getting for some U.S. international. So,
and do you have the list maybe pulled up, Peter, or have you seen it?
I saw
Any
it.
players that you think there is a possibility that we might be able to catch? I mean, we get, is it the number one allocation? So that means we get first dibs?
Yeah, well, it hasn't been made official yet, right? So if you go to the MLS website, which was this, the allocation order and process was updated as of yesterday, and so it doesn't mention us as the number one spot. It still mentions Charlotte because this has not been it's not become official. But if and when it becomes official, we get that number one spot that Charlotte has, which is obvious because expansion team. So here it's allocation ranking list is comprised of players in the following categories: U.S. men's national team players, U.S. U.S. youth national team players, and players transferred outside of MLS, garnering a transfer fee of at least $500,000. So players that you're going to have to transfer fee for. Got so it. I mean, let's just show real quick. I mean, it's kind of hard to go through the list because there's just a ton of names, Ed. But here is the list. It goes from, and a lot of these players, again, they're not coming here. Tyler Adams is spoken for. He's not out. Miguel Almiron, he's one that
he's not coming back.
No, and he's one that fits in that whole transfer thing, right? So he fits.
But he's not coming back. He's doing well over there in Europe.
So it's kind of you've got to sit here and spend some time and.
It's a wish list, is what it is.
Yeah, you've got to someone like Chris Henderson.
Jovinko.
Yes, someone from like Chris Henderson has spent the time to go through and sift through this list to see who is actually, realistic.
Right.
And I have not spent. I haven't spent that time, Ed. I'm sure you haven't either.
No. Josh Sargent, he's not coming anytime soon.
No. So I could
come on.
I could go on and on and on and on. Yeah, okay. Finally, it ends. DeAndre Yedlin near the bottom. So I don't know of these names who they potentially could be targeting. And a new ask is asking if Pity is on there. We could just do a quick search.
I don't think he's on there. He already signed away, didn't he?
Nope, he's there.
Oh, he's there, yeah.
Yeah, I just did a quick search so it highlights.
I noticed that. Look at that. Bam! Right there.
So
Gonzalo.
So I don't know, Ed. How do we get back?
Yeah, I don't have the patience to look through that list either and come up with that one name that we might get if the whole McCoon thing works out. I'm kind of disappointed that they actually did that, but there must be somebody on that list that there is potential for them to get.
Yeah, obviously. So McCoon, we have nobody on defense now, right?
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Mabika. That's probably coming up from Fort Lauderdale CF. What other players, man? On the left, I guess we could use. We know that Zach. Breck Shea is coming back. Thank goodness.
But I don't. But it has that's not official yet. So it's just that's based off of a very reputable source being Michelle Kaufman in her article in the Miami Herald. So, you pretty much can trust that's what's going to happen. But it's not official. So we've got look, let's go back to Safari because this is ridiculous. And let me remove this. This is our roster, Ed.
Okay, there we go. Gibbs. All right, he's a defender. McCoon, which is still there.
So
but Fagal,
they're both going to be gone, right? So we hear they're both going to be gone. LGP, we know, just did a physical. He's going to be gone at what was it? Boca, right?
He's going to River Plate.
Oh, I always get the two confused.
Fernando Fiore's favorite team.
Okay, so he's
with get him confused.
Well, I know they're the two biggest. They're the two biggest clubs in that.
Well, Figal's actually going to Boca, so that's really interesting.
Right. So Figal, Boca, LGP. So he's gone. Blaze is not in the plans. They just haven't gotten rid of him yet.
And let's stop there for a second because we need to get Blaze. Blaze has to be dealt in some way, bought out or whatever, so that we can get that DP spot, because we need that DP spot, Peter Brown.
So let's look at this. Chris Arjun says, I'm all for change, but too many changes at the same time will mean more despair and losses for the fans, as building a competitive team does not happen overnight. So we can expect this team to be bad next year, but...
Yes. But they're rebuilding. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah. And I think the show might be all over the place tonight, because my mind is going all over the place. I think I would rather watch a bad, young, hungry team than a bad, old / not trying team. Right. And we saw that a little bit last year. We saw a team that did not put maximum effort, that were not hungry, and were overpaid. We saw that last year. So I'd rather see a young, hungry club that, okay, they may not be good enough, but we weren't good enough anyways. So with the youth, you know that they're at least putting a maximum effort.
At least they're going to run.
And they're right. And there's potential. But you know, Ed... Oh, here's another one that just popped in. We got to say hello to our buddy, Eric Thomas.
Oh, boy.
You're a little late there, Eric. A little late.
Yeah.
Missed the first 17 minutes. Get a watch.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got a voicemail that we got to get to soon. So if you guys have any voicemails, definitely put them in. Want to probably get to this sooner rather than later, so we're not talking the same things over and over again. But when I was talking about youth, and I was looking for an image for tonight's show, I was actually originally looking for an image of Higuain, like a frustrated Higuain. I even Googled frustrated Higuain, and just searching for that.
I'm surprised you didn't find anything.
I mean, I found some, but not of high quality and stuff like that. And some of there's more shots of him celebrating than complaining, and
which is odd, because we saw him complaining a lot this year. Or last year.
Yeah. But they don't take pictures of that, I guess. Chris, where's your pictures of that, Arjun? But the reason I was going to use him with frustration in the same title, Fire Sale, is because he got frustrated when the players couldn't get him the ball and had to come back and do all that. So he got frustrated. Now, if you've got a young team, the frustration level, I mean, you can't expect the same thing from a kid from the USL club, that's been promoted up, as you would from, say, Pizarro. You can't expect the same. And Pizarro failed at it. So, it's going to be a frustrating year for Higuain. You could look at it like I'm a lame duck. I'm just sitting here collecting a paycheck this year because they clearly didn't give me the assets that I need to be competitive. Now, they still have a lot of players they need to fill. They have cleared more than enough cap space.
Yeah, I saw somewhere that they cleared up like 17 million.
That was a figure I saw as well.
Right, which is a lot of money. That probably includes some of the DP players. That's why, as I mentioned, Matuidi's very important that he leaves in a way where we have that DP spot, because we definitely didn't get a DP spot from loaning out Pizarro, and that's going to hurt us, I think.
Yes. Yeah, I was reading a lot of talk about Insigne. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Yeah, he
signed with
TFC. Because he's a big time player, man. I think they brought in another Italian to play with him as well.
Yeah.
So Toronto's actually looking pretty good, Plus they've got Bradley now as a coach. There you go, and Richard Greenberg. He's a
major buzz for TFC
fan
right now after such an awful year for us, he says.
Yeah, that's what happens though.
Tracker's in here too, and he says Miami is cursed. I wouldn't go that far. Look, Miami made their first mistake. They made as a club was hiring Paul McDonough. It seemed to make sense at the time. They bought into the hype of what he did, or they thought he did in Atlanta. He wasn't alone in Atlanta. And here he was the one person calling all the shots. He was not calling all the shots there. He was part of a team. Here he was the man. And so they that was their main mistake is they hired him. And then we are where we are because of that. Now, Chris Henderson is doing the tough work of dismantling that. And I got to say, it's frustrating to see that, someone like McCoon going. But one thing you notice is a lot of these players are going out on loan. So that stinks when it comes to like Pizarro because he's still counting as a DP. We can't clear that DP space because he's technically not sold, right? But think about it from the business end. That's a great business move because right now they would have to sell him for a loss. If he does well in he went to Monterrey, right?
Monterrey.
If he does well in Monterrey and they want to buy him, that they're going to have to pony up. Or if somebody else wants to buy him after playing.
That team's a contender too, Peter.
Right.
They're constantly up there for the titles in Mexico, so they're definitely going to use him. Plus, they're going to the World Cup of Club Championship, the World Cup of the clubs.
Right.
So he's going to get to play that, which is it's incredible for him. It's a great place to show him off. And cross your fingers that he does well. And they could sell him.
And they could sell him for at less of a loss. Because you got to look at this not just from the field of play, because that's what we all want to watch, but it's also the business. So someone like, again, Carranza getting loaned to Philadelphia Union. It makes sense for both teams. Philadelphia is getting a $6 million player for nothing.
Right.
And we clear some space off of the books for a year. And if he does well, they can make some money. They may never make that $6 million, right? But they'll make more than if they sold him now, if he does well. Right. And if he doesn't do well, you're at a loss anyways. So these are all these loan deals. I think in a lot of ways makes a lot of sense. And another thing, I heard a lot of teams are just doing loans during this COVID time. They don't want to pony up a bunch of money, but and Jazz Fusion is right. They love cheap in Chester. Yeah. Union has built things the cheap way, but they've done a good job with it. And this is smart for them. This is smart for them. They get a kid that has potential, 21 years old, and he has potential. We didn't figure out the potential here.
Right. And he's going to want to show off that potential, whatever it is, in Philly. This is another chance for him too. So, he just, like you said, he didn't mesh well with the team, with the ideas. This probably just wasn't his scene. So crossing fingers there also that he gets better, except when he plays Inter Miami.
Against us, yeah. Jazz Fusion is kind of echoing my thoughts. Henderson is a real deal, knows the league. So yeah, he's dismantling the team, and I think in a smart way. They cleared so much cap space that we're at the point now where that fine isn't hurting us. Now we've got money. Now if we can get rid of Matuidi, we could go out and get Rafael Vega, right? If I'm saying it right.
Yeah, and that's a guy that we desperately need, man. He's still at the top of his game. He's the playmaker for Palmeiras. I mean, they came out champion with the Libertadores. Let's hope we can get that guy because we definitely need him. And he's, if it's anything like we say, I don't know if you saw him play before, but the guy can play, Peter.
No.
And he can score. He can do the services that Higuain needs. We just need a second striker, and we're losing strikers. We know that we're losing Carranza, but we still have what's his name? Forgot his name. Chileno,
Robbie Robinson,
American Robbie Robinson. There we go.
Who he's not safe either, right? If somebody's interested, it's one of those things where somebody always. I heard somebody say one time that everything's for sale, right? My car, my house, everything's for sale. Everything but my wife and my kids, right? Everything's for sale. It just the price may be high.
I don't know. Sometimes the price is right.
but everybody is up for sale. You get the right price, they're for sale.
Right.
Robbie, I would imagine they would hold on to because he's cheap. He's still a generation Adidas player, so he's cheap. He's not costing them much, and he did perform. Was he the best player? No. He's streaky. But so is the whole damn team last year. So But then again, I would have said the same thing about McCoon. I didn't think they would get rid of McCoon, and here we are going down that path. So
right.
So Ed, let's listen to this voicemail and
Right.
and then come on back to do some other stuff. Let's see if this goes through.
Hey, Peter, Uncle Ed, and Happy New Year, everybody. It's One World, One Gold, Italia. So lots happening, and like I said, I think a year ago that they need to blow up like 70% and dump this team. Not that we want anyone to be unhappy, but you'll notice in Chris Henderson we trust. They are very gently moving people around, moving all the puzzle pieces, putting people, back to where they came from, maybe to retire with some dignity, or, back to their home teams and whatnot. So that's awesome. And the stadium update, I'm sure you guys want to talk about the 9 million trades and rumors of Suarez and then Messi down the road and all these things. But I'm excited about that stadium. The good thing is, of course, Ed was right. He's always right. And Peter is right. He's always right. That the gentleman who was trying to bring the stadium is not worth that money yet. He has to do a sale putting his company going public, and then he would have those funds. So in typical Miami style, talking about things before you even have the financing. And in the good news, Ed was also right that the Eras, I forget how you say it, Eras Development or Eras whatever, the investors were the people that gave that $150 million line of credit to get the beginning of the stadium going. And I don't know that they took over the 48% that was then sold off or how all that works with the partnerships. But the point being, they do have finances ready, and they're going to put that stadium to a vote. And then I also noticed that they called the whole new league MLS Next, which is going to be the lower division, which is different than USL. Very confusing for a soccer pyramid. But Peter, if I'm not mistaken, made the shirts that said MLS Next, because I have Diego 17 in one of those when he was talking to the press. When we didn't know what we were going to be for the hashtag, whether we were 21 or 22 or 23, it took so long to get them to open our franchise. But hey, we're so happy to hear it, and Happy New Year, everybody. Love the show. Bye.
It's funny she mentions that MLS Next thing, Ed, because I forgot about it. I'm sitting there going, what is she talking about? That was that hashtag we put because we started off making T-shirts that said 2015, 2016, 20, whatever it was. And then it's like, it's just next.
Yeah. Because, we went through, because we thought we were going to be MLS 20, and then it went to 21, and then MLS 20, I think it was 22, and then we just said, whatever. We're getting the wrong number wrong. We're eventually going to be in Major League Soccer. Let's just put next.
I didn't think about that. We should have copywritten that, and then
we
MLS
should have copywritten that.
Oh, man.
We would have made the bucks.
We used MLS Next. I forgot about that way before MLS did.
And we got the T-shirt. Wait, I got my laundry here. Hold on. No, I don't have it. I'm right next to my laundry. See, I got my 305 one, but I didn't have. I thought it was going to be the next one. Oh man. I got it around there somewhere. Collector's item.
Yeah. So she talked about a lot there. But let's one thing we could talk about there is in the stadium. So Miami Freedom Park is obviously the end result that this team wants. I'm of the they could take as long as they want type of person because I'm a fan of where it is.
Close to your house.
I mean, look, once it moves to downtown Miami, basically, it'll take me. I don't know how long that'll take me. Close to an hour and a half, maybe. But I will never be one of those soccer fans that I see online that says, "Well, the games were fun while they lasted, and I guess I won't go anymore." No.
I'm seeing a lot of people doing that. Saying that I'm not going to drive down all the way. Come on, guys.
Well,
I mean, I'm driving up all the time from Miami.
And you've got some guys that I know that listen to this show and that were Miami Ultras and Southern Legion. Some people that close with on Facebook and all that won't drive up. they're from Miami. They won't drive up. So some people are like that. But obviously, I prefer for her to stay in Broward, but I'll go to Miami. And I understand the business sense of being in Miami. I understand why you want to be in Miami. Miami is sexy. And Fort Lauderdale was sexy back in spring break, right? But that's been a long time. Been a long time since that was those heyday of spring break in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and probably before. But, the stadium. So they apparently, Ed, you may know more than I do, but they've got an agreement in place.
They do, Peter Brown. They've got an agreement where basically the team would pay like a little over $3 million for as rent. There's all sorts of other incentives for the city. I do remember I don't remember exactly all the deals, but I think they're also going to pay millions of dollars for they're going to do like a something by the river, like a park down the river, something like that. And basically every district that these commissioners represent will get something out of this. Right. Which we know that one of them, Reyes, has been against it since the beginning. He's pretty tight with like the Brahmins, and Bremen, I think is his name, the guy that does the dealership.
Bremen.
Who's pretty wealthy. Bremen, there you go. And some of those other guys. So he's got his people that help him finance his campaign, who he needs to support. I saw an interview in Spanish TV where he was saying that there's going to be traffic, because of the airport is right by there.
And there might be,
yeah.
But it's Miami. There's going to be traffic anywhere.
Yeah, no matter where you go, there's going to be traffic.
Uh-oh.
And I just don't think. Oh, look at Peter's lights going out.
My light went out.
But no matter where you go, there's going to be traffic. It's not going to happen every day. How many games do they play, Peter? It's 20 some games, which is 20 some days where there'll be traffic. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure they're working on ways to alleviate all that traffic. You could take the train, which leaves you right there. That's one of the ways I was thinking about taking the train. It's walking distance. I think they said they're going to make a bridge to get on the other side of I think there's a canal right there crossing from the hotels or whatever from the airport and train station. So I don't see it as a problem. I think it's something. Of course, we're soccer fans, man. We want this thing to happen because it's going to be awesome.
I don't live in that neighborhood, so it doesn't bother me, right?
And people in that neighborhood, I've heard they're actually kind of excited because there's going to be jobs created close by to that neighborhood. There's going to be an actual park they could go to for free. Mm-hmm. Right now, there's a golf course there that nobody can go to unless they want to go play golf and they want to pay the fee to get in. So, this guy Reyes always says, the green space is going to be gone. No, it's not going to be gone. It's going to be accessible to people, in an actual park, instead of them having, to pay to get in only be able to golf. All that land. That's one of the things about, I'm not a golfer. And, there's people who are golfers who, love that, all that land just for themselves. Well, not anymore. I think all that land's being, is going to have better use for a lot of people that are going to actually get to enjoy it.
So a new Weissman is asking here, is it necessary to spend $1 billion on a stadium? When you say that, do you have to do this? Do you have to do this when you say $1 billion?
$1 billion.
I know that was million, but inflation.
Yeah.
So the whole project is $1 billion, and $1 billion includes I think the purchase of the land or whatever it costs them to, because they're getting like a X amount of year lease.
I think it's 99-year lease. In the contract, it says that they have to actually be there or in that stadium for at least 30 years.
Right.
The use
they can't
of
change their name from Miami, right? So, the entire project is $1 billion. So that includes buying the land. That includes the remediation,
cleaning up land. Remember,
clean. And I heard
polluted.
I thought I read somewhere that's like a $35 million cleanup. Some insane number. Yeah. I don't know if I may have that. I may have that number wrong.
And they're golfing on top of all that pollution.
Right.
That's what drives me nuts when this guy Reyes says, that's great land or whatever, that's, green space or whatever.
Right.
Dude, it's polluted. They're playing golf on it right now. And, that's got to be bad for the people.
Yeah.
But,
and that billion also includes the hotel and the office. Like One World, One Goal is mentioning that as well. It includes the hotel, office buildings, walking space, open air, kind of a mall and the park and all that kind of stuff. And so it's $1 billion total. And it also includes them giving money to that. I think you mentioned some Riverwalk type project that they're working on. That's been kind of approved, but not going anywhere. So they're going to put some money into it. So yeah, everybody gets something. And they've also promised that every employee that's working in the stadium will get, I think, a $15 an hour minimum wage. So
health benefits, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. So the team is doing whatever they can to make everybody happy, like you said. And so they only need 4 out of 5 votes. They feel confident. And I think the vote is expected soon, right, Ed?
Yeah, I think they're going to push it through as soon as possible. It looks like they've got everything ready. I saw the interviews in the Spanish TV where a couple of commissioners were like, they're just waiting to see, what it's all about. It's I think I heard somewhere it's like a few hundred pages long, so it's a lot of reading. So it's going to take them a little while to check the whole thing out. And we're crossing as soccer fans, we're crossing our fingers that it's going to happen. We already know there's one commission that's going to go against it. They got to convince the other 4. So, but the people have voted, they voted for them to make this thing happen. So hopefully they won't go against, the vote of the people.
Right. And Toby Spitzer, which is a new name to me. So welcome to the show. The owner would be the city or the owner group of the stadium. That's a question mark. The way I understand it, and, I'm not the brightest bulb, but the way I understand it is no kind of different than the Fort Lauderdale Stadium situation. It's like technically the city owns it, but you have a 99-year lease or whatever that lease is. So you kind of like own it. You operate it, run it, and you have to pay this. I think they said I read somewhere that the stadium alone has to pay the city. I think it is $500,000 a year. Now the project pays the city millions per year, but the stadium itself,
3.5, something like that.
Right. The stadium itself is responsible for, I think, paying $500,000. So you look at each piece as its own business, and they're responsible for a chunk. The way I understand it is the city technically owns it, but they have operating rights for X amount of years. And also the city, whenever they sell the naming rights to the stadium, whether it's Drive Pink Stadium there or whether it's some airline from some Arab airline or whatever, they get 5% of that sale, of that naming
That's
right.
a lot of money right there.
Yeah. So the city's
that's a lot more than they're getting now. A lot more than they're getting now, I think.
And that's it. What are you getting from Mel Reese Golf Course currently? And some people always feel like we're getting fleeced, this and that. But what are you getting now?
Right, they're going to get a lot more with this deal than they get with the golf course being there.
Right.
So
hey,
yeah,
our buddy Christopher Harris has a good question. What happens if Inter Miami don't get enough votes? Will we be at Lockhart forever? So what I heard is there is that backup plan in their back pocket. They do own a piece of land in Overtown. And if for whatever reason they don't get 4 out of the 5 votes, they will move on the Overtown piece of land, which is like tiny. Like it's enough for a stadium. There's no parking. There's no nothing. There's no nothing. It's a stadium.
It's the stadium.
So there's
a little bit of land for parking, but they need to find parking desperately.
Not enough. And not in the safest neighborhood to go park your car down the street and walk.
And there's a train station just north. I mean, it's walkable, you could say, if it's not raining.
You say question mark, that means it's a long walk.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's walkable.
But I mean, the way you say,
say.
you say it with a question mark. It's like, it's walkable. I wouldn't want to do it, but you could do it. That's what it sounded like.
That's the thing. But you know what? We want our soccer team to play in Miami, so it's there. Downtown's right there. I'm sure if they actually do the stadium there, everything around there is going to skyrocket.
Sure,
all those people are going to be making some money, and I guess the Moss brothers and Beckham are going to own a pretty expensive lot there.
Chris Arjun is saying 2023 season in the new stadium? Hell no. It's going to take 2 to 3 years to build that thing. I would say, you know what I could see them doing? Let's say they can get it pushed through in 2 years. We're now in our 3rd year. That's how you celebrate your 5th year anniversary. 5 years, that's something to think about, right? You celebrate every 5 years, 5, 10, 15. So your 5th year anniversary, you're in the new stadium.
That would be awesome.
It could be. So, and I'm just scrolling through chats. Lots of conversation going on about the stadium.
Well,
somebody also did mention that the people that are complaining about the stadium are those that live in Broward, and that is not 100% true. If anytime one of these posts go up, and it's say by the Herald or something like that, that's not just soccer fans in our soccer groups, right? Although there are some of these people that infiltrated there as well. But you'll always see some Miami locals complaining about the stadium, and a lot of them still are hurt because of the Marlins deal. So there's a lot of that still. And so they don't like any stadium being built in their city. I mean, it's hard to build in Miami. There was that mall that mall that they wanted to build in Miami. It was supposed to be the biggest mall. The people that built Mall of America in Minnesota wanted to build one in Miami. I forgot what it was going to be called. But that still hasn't happened. I'm not sure if it's dead or if it's still in the process or whatever, but that still hasn't happened. It's tough to build in Miami. So
it sure is.
It was so much easier in Fort Lauderdale. And that's a great argument to say stay in Fort Lauderdale. But, the league wants to be in Miami. The Miami name is great for demographics. It's great for promotion. It's great for being that gateway to South America. Now, Fort Lauderdale's not that much different, but it just doesn't have the name. I think that's all it is. It's image.
It's just a name, just an image.
Because, I mean, if you're hopping on a plane and driving to South and flying to South America from Fort Lauderdale, it's about the same flight that you're flying from Miami. Maybe it's 10 minutes longer.
Yeah. It's not that much.
No, so to me, it's just image, and Miami's image is bigger, and that's where they want to be. So that's where they're going to be. And I think those fans that are diehard fans that are in Broward, if they fall in love with the club, they will follow. I hope. That's all I can say.
Well, that Peter Brown and myself will be there no matter what, even if they end up playing in West Palm Beach.
Even closer to me.
Probably won't happen.
Closer to me.
It's a lot closer to you, that's for sure.
I mean, West Palm Beach.
But I'll still support.
West Palm Beach would be like 45 minutes away from me. So it's still not around the block, but
it'd be like 2, yeah. And I like Toby Spitzer saying, yes, Miami sounds sexier. Yeah?
Yeah, exactly. And somebody wants us to read. Apparently, Anthony Manzano wants us to read his chat. Where did it go? Can you please read my comment from before? I gotta find you, Anthony. Where are you, Anthony?
Oh, Anthony.
Okay. Anthony says, in terms of transfers this summer, apparently we're linked to Alexis Sanchez or Luis Suarez. Who do you prefer to pair up with Gonzalo Higuain up top next season? Oh, we're not getting either of those next season.
Oh, you never know. Maybe mid-season, Luis Suarez will come down.
All right. So I've seen you. We chat back and forth, and we're in a couple group chats here and there, and it sounds like you're pretty confident about the Suarez thing. So you want Suarez, and you're pretty confident about Suarez, if I read your chats correctly.
I think that's a definite possibility. I think he'd be great. He could still run. He's a lot fresher than Higuain. And imagine having that pair of guys up there. All we'd need is that playmaker. And if we can get Vega, we would be awesome, Peter Brown. When Suarez up there, forget about it. I think that would make us a contender immediately. At least we'll sell a lot of jerseys, and they'll definitely make their money off.
They'll sell a lot of jerseys.
Off of those players.
How old is Suarez?
Suarez, I think they said he was 33.
Too old.
33. He can still run. He's still in top shape.
Where's he? Okay, so 34.
You're looking him. He's 34.
Let's get the old man glasses, Ed.
Oh boy, look at that.
Glasses, the old man glasses. 34.
There you go. 34.
Yeah, and he's with Madrid and 44.
Atletico Madrid.
Yeah,
his contract runs out in the summer, so he's definitely available. I think he's there's a lot of interest. I've spoken with a couple of journalists from Spain who say that it seems like he wants to come to Miami. So we just don't know what the people are. We don't know what Beckham or the Moss brothers have said yet, but I'd be down for it. I think a lot of people would be down for that. Alexis Sanchez, not so much. That guy's been on the downturn for a while, and I don't think he'd be that big of a name, to make a difference. Maybe he's still got some fire in him, but if I'd have to pick, I'd say Suarez.
He was mentioned a lot in our first year. I remember his name popping up then.
Yeah, and I probably would have taken him back then. But now it just seems like he's been kind of like incognito. You haven't heard much about him, so I'm thinking he's not as good as he used to be.
Yeah, I think as far as Suarez goes, well, here's Kata says pass. Look, I'm willing to give.
He's on your side, Pete.
Yeah, well. Look, if he can perform and he's great, fine. I'm just scared of these old guys. I've been burned, right? I'm scared of the old guys. I know he's still performing at a high level. I get it. But I've been burned by the old guys. And then the other thing.
Look at Zlatan, man.
I know. He's still
like 100.
I know. So he's one that could prove me wrong for sure. But
I'm telling you.
But I don't know. It just every player is in the offseason is rumored to be, coming to Miami. And I think that's fun. I find it entertaining, all that kind of stuff. But you take it all with a grain of salt. I'll believe it when I see it. Unless there's some agreement in place that they're just not talking about. I think I saw somebody, it might have been you, posting that, hey, we're building a young team around to make space for Suarez or whatever like that in 1 or 2 years, whatever it is, a summer, whatever it is. But can't put all your eggs in one basket. That's what I'm afraid of. That's what I'm afraid of.
Well, the thing is also, Peter, we don't have those DP spots. Higuain's using one up.
Matuidi's good.
Pizarro.
They could get one back. Look, they could get one back. They could get Matuidi if they just have to buy out his contract, and they're allowed to buy out one contract. They're trying. There is a rumor that there is a French team that's interested in him. I forgot the name. I read it earlier in the week. That it's the team he started his career with. Yeah. Is interested in bringing him in, and maybe they buy him because we can't do any loans. They got to buy him in order to free up that DP spot.
There's got to be some fee or something, right?
Right.
Is that what it says?
Something like that. Oh, my nose is itchy. So maybe they buy him because hey, they're going to offer him some sort of deal where he finishes his career there and then goes into coaching there. You finish where you started and you. But we may have to sell him at a loss, or we just cut him. You buy him out. That's the easiest thing. But if they can make a few bucks, obviously that's what they want to do. But his deal would be the last minute thing that probably happens.
Right. But the thing, a player like Vega's not going to be around for long, so
that is the problem. So they got to free up that DP for him. Forget about Suarez. I forgot about that. Yeah, they got to free up the DP for him. Not Suarez. So Suarez.
That's the player that we need. I think we can build a pretty decent team if we've got him. Higuain doesn't have to come back anymore. He could just stay up there like Peter Brown did back in the day when he was a striker. He wouldn't go back for nothing. And you just stay up there. He could just stay up there and score the goals. And but we need nowadays everybody plays defense. So if he's going to stay up there because he's too slow, we need all the other players, all the rest of the 9 players on the field right there to cover. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Trying to go through some of the chats. I did see one that I thought was funny. I don't know why he's mad at us, but I think it's funny nonetheless. Esteban is asking, what I like about this show is that Peter and Ed use the inclusive style, even if I am excluded sometimes. I don't know. Not on purpose, Esteban. You're here every week. We love you. But
yeah, man.
And if it was because of Esteban that I noticed that I missed an Anthony comment that I was supposed to read because Esteban asked me to do it. So yeah, there you go.
Good stuff.
And here's the thing, I miss a lot of chats because I try to look at the camera unless I'm going to sit here and look down the entire show. So like I that's part of the problem. Producing the show, Ed could tell you from last time he did the show, producing the show and tough. Hosting the show is tough to do at the same time.
It's very tough. But Peter, let's since we're talking about the players again, let's talk about the ones that have been signed or re-signed. In this case, we talked about Shea. Brett Shea is apparently been re-signed. At least
not official.
Michelle Kaufman says so. It happened.
But maybe we should talk about the ones that are official first.
Okay, let's go there.
Because I've got them. Because I've got images. That's why, Ed.
Oh, there you go.
That's why I want to do that.
There you go.
So let's start here and go. We brought back Victor Ulloa.
Are
you happy about that? Re-signed. He's re-signed.
Well, he's a player. He does his role. Apparently he's really good in with the rest of the players. He's a leader with the team. So so that's a good thing. And you put up another player right there.
Yeah. So let's go back. So let's go down my list. Then we got after that they signed Jean Mota. I was asking my wife how to say it, and I was saying Mota, but she said it's Mata. So Jean Mata. That's what she says. That's what my Brazilian wife says.
Well, she knows better than we do. We do Mata then.
Yeah.
It's Mata.
Yeah. Until I hear him say it, right?
Right. Exactly. Well, he comes from Santos. He apparently would occupy the space for Blaise Matuidi.
Yes.
He's a defensive midfielder.
And a huge upgrade from what we hear.
Right.
Right. So, and the other benefit is he has played with Gregory before.
That's great.
So there's some relation there. That's always important. So I think that's a big sign. We're getting rid of the Argentinians. We're going all Brazilian right now.
Yeah, they said let's fix that problem and work it out. But we still got our Argentinian up top.
Yes, for another year. And then let's go back and we'll talk about next Moe Adams coming in from Atlanta.
There you go.
Our buddy here from Atlanta could probably tell us some information about him. Englishman that I guess he has a green card because he went to college here and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I imagine he has a green card, but I know he's an Englishman. Midfielder, defenders, I don't know if he's a starter in this lineup or if he's for depth. I'm not sure.
I would imagine for depth because I think there's going to be a lot of midfielders. So we'll see, especially like Vega comes in. We keep mentioning him, but I think he'd be great if we do get him. Who else? Peter Brown.
All right, so let's continue on. And we've got Ariel Lassiter, the son of the great Roy Lassiter.
Roy Lassiter, who also played for the Fusion. Roy, something about Roy, and so we're not talking about Ariel just yet, but Roy his career was complemented by having an incredible playmaker in Carlos Valderrama, who just served him up, and all he had to do was score. He just pushed that ball in, and he became the highest scorer in Major League Soccer for I think over a decade until they finally broke his record. He also came to Miami Fusion. Didn't do too well with the other teams, but his dad definitely was a big time player with the national team as well. But so Ariel's got to fill in those shoes, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's can he be any worse than Carranza? Carranza didn't do anything, and so another young guy comes in and obviously he's cheaper, and we're gonna give him a shot, right? So he comes from good stock. I don't know much about him other than that.
They played for Houston, I
know
think,
that, yeah.
and then they loaned him out to Saprissa, where I think he did pretty decently.
Okay.
So he's coming back to the United States, and I think he played for the Costa Rican national team. I'll look that up, but I think hey, hopefully this kid has got what it takes. Maybe coming off the bench to score.
Kata says, look at Lassiter's stats lately. Thumbs down, double thumbs down. So,
there was a player. Remember, there was a player mentioned online that was coming to Miami. I don't know if you've got the. Do you remember what guy this was? I think we mentioned it in one of our chats, and that we looked at his stats and we were like, oh no, I hope this guy doesn't show up.
Yeah,
I forgot who it was. Let me look it up.
Lassiter makes more money than I would expect. He had a guaranteed compensation last year of $230,000, over $230,000.
Holy smokes!
Base salary $210, so a little more than I expected. But anyways, we're running out of time here. Let's go to the last player that they did announce, and that is Bryce Duke. That's a good name, Ed. That's a good name.
Duke. Bryce. Well, but Bryce also, it's different.
Yeah, it's different. And this is a player that I heard the LAFC fans were not happy that they lost. Right? He came from LAFC, right?
Yes.
They were not happy that they lost him. So that's a good sign when they're mad at their club for losing a young player.
Well, that's definitely a good sign, and hopefully,
in the midfield,
he does a good job. But he's another midfielder.
Yep.
Who else do we have? Peter Brown.
That's the announcements that I saw so far.
Oh, I mean, don't forget. I think we also put it on the. We were talking about it on the chat. There's one player that seems to be back in South Florida, or he's gonna be back as one of your favorite players.
Yeah, I thought he got a raw deal in that, and somebody chatted about him.
George Acosta.
Yeah, I was just looking for the chat to give that person credit.
That's the guy that we're talking about, George Acosta.
Yep.
He's
here it is.
He's
Kata mentioned
another chance.
Kata mentioned George Acosta. I'm excited for. So yeah, that's a guy that local. He was our first local homegrown kind of player, local player that they found, they signed, and his first year he got hurt. And so he didn't play. And then, he rehabbed in the USL and played all last year in the USL. I watched quite a few games with the USL and team, and I thought he looked good. And I thought he looked good enough to get a chance. And so I think he would probably play in the same position as like Jean Mota, maybe. But so he's depth. He's depth. But I think he definitely... I think he's probably good enough to make the depth roster, to be on the roster. Mm-hmm. He looked good. He looked composed when he had the ball, and I liked him.
Yeah, there was another player, Peter, this Swedish right back called Christopher McVeigh. He comes from Elfsborg. I don't know if they've. I haven't seen him on the list of the players that are actually coming, but he does have an American passport. So that would be a good one. Yeah, we need a right back.
Neil Leonard is checking in. Our old buddy Neil Leonard is checking in.
Neil, how you doing, bud? Good to see you joining us.
On this on YouTube. How do you stumble on this? We've known you for like a decade. How do you just stumble on this?
7 p.m. every Sunday.
I sat next to you at a game and Esteban is just full of sarcasm. Neil, you came just right on time as the show is about to close. Good timing. He also made a compliment here, Ed. Esteban with a rare positive message. Futbol Miami TV time sure flies when the show is entertaining. Peter, this new year, you got to go double the time from 1 to 2 hours.
Whoa.
2 hours.
Are we that interesting? 2 hours seems to be
I
too
would
long.
I would say instead of doing a 2-hour show, you maybe we throw in a midweek show, which we did. I did that for a little while. Now you couldn't attend that because your schedule permitting, but I did do a midweek, a Thursday show for a little while. So if there's a desire, if there's enough to talk about, we could think about bringing another Thursday night live show back.
And I do need to start doing the Spanish ones again. I know I keep promising I'm going to do them, but I definitely want to start doing them again. The guy that we were talking about, Peter, was Erickson Gallardo. He's a Venezuelan player that apparently played with Toronto FC, but he didn't do much. And there was a rumor that he might come to Miami. He's a forward, and we looked up his stats, and they were dismal. He barely even scored, and he's been playing for 7 years already. So he's no spring chicken. And his numbers were just terrible. So we're hoping that that's just a rumor and that he doesn't show up.
Yeah. Oh, did he play for TFC? Richard Greenberg.
Yeah.
He sucked.
See, there you go. If Richard says he sucked, don't bring him.
Yeah. Well,
He sucks.
tonight's show, I will tell you this. Tonight's show was a lot of fun, and tonight's show could be 2 hours easily because I think we just scratched the surface. There were so many things that we could have talked about and gone into more detail that we just didn't. We scanned through a bunch of things and a little bit like everything tangential and just going all over the place. And I love that. But the show went fast. The show was fun. But this pretty much wraps it up, Ed.
We're done. We're basically done.
We've done some good work. And there's some new people that are still popping in at the end. James Batten is saying if we remember him from England, of course. And so lots going on.
So as you were mentioning, Peter, there's just so much going on. The season hasn't started yet, and there's so much potential for players that could come, and we've already gotten rid of many.
The preseason starts in 2 weeks. We don't have a team, Ed.
I know.
There's so many spots. They got rid of 19, and
who's going to train?
We got rid of 19 players, and I just named off 5 that they brought in. So
they need to update that website too, because there's a lot of those players that are leaving.
Yeah, well, but it's not official, so until it's official, they're not going to update the website. Yeah, and Jazz Fusion's talking about the pink jerseys coming next year. We could talk more detail about the pink jersey next year. I think somebody nailed.
Year.
I think this year. Well, it is next season. Let's put this year, next season. I think somebody nailed it on Facebook as far as what they think the pattern might be. I think somebody nailed it. We could talk about that next week. But lots to talk about. And everybody, thanks so much for joining us. It was a lot of fun. It's hard to say goodbye because we're still having a lot of fun and you guys are still active in the chat. But one thing you also need to be active with is going to Caneswear. So make sure you go to Caneswear, go there, say hello, mention that you heard about them on Futbol Miami TV, and they'll give you some extra love. Great support a local business. That's where we get all of our gear. So thanks everybody for watching. Ed, any parting words of wisdom?
Just guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We will be back. We're hoping to make some more videos soon. So stick with us. And next week, same time, same place.
All right. Thanks, everybody. It's no fun without you guys. So thanks so much for being with us. It's going to be another fun ride this year, as this is the first show of 2022. And so thanks so much for everybody that tuned in live. And also thanks to everybody that's watching it later. If you're watching it later, come join us Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.